Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today is transfer deadline day, and there's going to be a lot of news to deal with Man United. Let's look at some of the links that we have. Yesterday, we had this story about Emi Martinez coming up. According to Fabrizio, Manchester United make a new approach with Aston Villa for Emiliano Dibu Martinez. Talks remain ongoing for Senne Lammens, while Man United want to be ready if deal collapses with less than 48 hours to go. A new approach for Dibu took place with Villa plus his camp. So as you can see, it's going to be one of the deals that we go back to. Earlier in the video, we were linked to Emi Martinez that it was going to be one of the players that we are going to sign. So it looks like we are back for him. It's a case of either experience or a young player who has a lot of potential. Senne Lammens has been touted as the next Thibaut Courtois from Belgium. So it's going to be a risk. Man United in their current position, you wonder if they want to try out someone who they don't know how it will turn out, or they want experience in Martinez. Martinez has been in the league. He's played for Arsenal, he's played for Aston Villa, so he understands the pressure in the big clubs. He's also played in the World Cup final for Argentina, and he conducted himself so well. He made a last ditch save that that took the game to penalties. Argentina won that game, so it's going to be interesting because he's the kind of player that would thrive in this environment of Man United. Man United has a lot of pressure, and you have seen it. So many young players. Look at the likes of Hoyland, where they came to England, and then they didn't know what they were after. The whole season he had a very rough time. In the second season, it was even worse, and now he's left for Napoli. So it's going to be a case of either trying to get the experience in Martinez or trying it out with a young goalkeeper who has potential, but you don't really ever know and understand how they'll handle the pressure, because every single bad touch is scrutinized at Man United. So you need somebody who's mentally ready for that. There has been some progress in the deal. According to Fab, he says Emi Martinez has told Aston Villa that he wants to join Manchester United. Clear message again after the game, as personal terms are agreed with Man United. Talks continue also with Sancho. Man United also keep talks active for Lammens, who Aston Villa target if Dibu leaves. So this was after the game. Martinez didn't travel for the game against Crystal Palace that was being played on Monday night. They lost that game 3-0, but Palace had a good game. You can see one of the things that Palace were able to do well is that they were able to keep the game tight, and in such games you need your goalkeeper to be good. Unfortunately, Mark Bizot couldn't have done much about some of the goals, but you always wonder, could they have done better with Martinez in goal? So it's going to be a case of Man United trying to get him, and Aston Villa deciding whether they want to keep him or go for Lamens. In my opinion, Man United have done very well to keep their options open. They know they went for Lamens, and Lamens, Royal Antwerp added some Man United tax as usual. Every time Man United go for a player, you will find that some clubs strike to add some money. There was around £7 million extra added on this deal that wouldn't have been added if Fenerbahce or Galatasaray went for him. So Man United are trying to operate in the transfer market that they are taken seriously again. So they won't pay over the odds for a player. They'll try to negotiate and try to pay only that which they think is a fair amount. And a fair amount for Lamens, they think it's around the ballpark of 14 to 20 million pounds, mostly 14 to 17 or 20 million pounds. Royal Antwerp want around 25 million. So it's going to be a case of understanding that the options are open. So either Royal Antwerp realizes that they have to already, because they have gotten a replacement for Lamens, they'll have to sell. So it's either they panic and decide to sell from Man United, or Man United to keep the options open and go for Martinez. So it's going to be a case of understanding what really works for Man United right now. In my opinion, in the current state of the team, Martinez would be very good for Man United because he goes straight into the team and completely transforms us. Because if you look at the games that we have played recently, you look at the game against Aston Villa at the end of last season, Bainda made a mistake that he was saved because the referee blew his whistle so early. You look at the game against Arsenal, he also made a mistake that cost us the game. You look against the game against Fulham, he was very shaky in the corners. In fact, I don't know how Fulham were not able to score from all those crosses they put in, and Bainde was not good enough to claim them. So You look at that game, the defense was constantly in tension whenever there's a set piece. In fact, for Man United fans, every time there's a set piece, you almost feel like we are taking a penalty. There's a penalty against us. You don't know what the goalkeeper will do. You look at the game against Burnley. The second goal that Burnley scored was a Bainde error because he was supposed to catch the ball, and even if he was not supposed to catch the ball, you palm him out of danger. You just don't palm it directly into their striker, just in the danger zone for him to have another shot and score. So that is also a source of concern. The goalkeepers that Man United has have had so far have been a very big cause of concern, and it's something that we really need to look at and understand. It's a problem that needs to be solved. There is also the problem of midfielder. So there are two situations that we are looking at the deadline day. We look at the goalkeeper. Can we really get a goalkeeper that will help us in try to improve our team? Can we get a midfielder? The midfielder signing seems that it's as good of, according to Alex Crook, there's not going to be a midfield signing. So it's going to be interesting to see if the club will fail another manager, because Ruben Amorim, since the preseason days, has been speaking about a midfielder. He said he wants a combative midfielder, somebody who's athletic, somebody who can cover the distance. He talked about it then, and he's been talking about it from time to time that this team need a midfielder. So the club would fail him if they can't get him the right midfielder. So it's going to be interesting how they can decide if we can go into another season like without a midfielder. I compare this situation with the situation where Ten Hag wanted a left back. Luke Shaw was injured after the Euros, and we went into the season without a left back. We even sold Alvaro Carreras at the end of January. So the whole season we had a very poor season because we didn't have a left back, and there was no position that you can go into the season with a clear problem, with a clear weakness. Other teams will exploit that weakness because they understand you have a weakness on that side, and all those attacks that we conceded from that end show that there's a problem. Right now, you look at the shots against that we are getting because our midfielders are not helping in defense. You have the Casemiro can't track back in fast enough. You have Bruno Fernandes is not exactly the kind of player you expect to do the defensive duties. We conceded one goal against Fulham because he couldn't track Emil Smith-Rowe. Emil Smith-Rowe just made a run, a slow run, while Bruno wasn't even aware because he's not a midfielder. He always thinks attacking wise. So that's going to be an issue, and we hope we can fix that before the end of the window. The other story that is going to be dominating the deadline day is that of Sancho. Sancho has rejected various offers from Juventus, from Roma, from Besiktas. He has been constantly rejecting offers, and Aston Villa are one of the teams that are all interested in him. According to Fabrizio, negotiations between Aston Villa and Man United continue on deadline day for Jadon Sancho. Separate deal from Emi Martinez, but both in same conversation, trying to get both agreements done. Sancho has to decide if future today or eventually move to not European club. So Sancho, one of the biggest issues with Sancho is his wages. Most teams have shied away from approaching Sancho because they feel his wages are so prohibitive. He's on very high wages, so they think they cannot pay the transfer fee well as well pay the wages. He's been looking to go to other clubs and Man United to pay the difference in wages between the clubs, between Man United and the other team. So it's going to be an issue trying to get Sancho deal through the line, but we hope that it's something that can be completed in the remaining time. Hopefully it's something that we follow up. If he doesn't get his move today, there are other options. I think the Turkish window will continue for probably another week. There's also going to be the Saudi Arabia window that won't be closed. So those are other areas that we can explore. Or the way I think it looks like Sancho just wants to spend another season and get his payday at the end of the season, because at the end of the season his contract will be ending and Man United won't be renewing his contract, so he can get a sign-on fee in the next club that he can get. He can also get higher agent fees. So it's going to be a situation that we are trying to understand. If we can get rid of Sancho, his wages alone come up to around 15 million. So 15 million is a good amount you can put into the midfielder. It's going to be interesting if you can find them. There are midfielders you can always get on loan. There's Conor Gallagher has been in the news. There's been speculation about Conor Gallagher to Man United. Atletico, they want to get rid of Conor Gallagher, or probably he's not exactly in favor with the team. So it's going to be something that you can look at Conor Gallagher. He's a good midfielder in terms of covering distance. He's very, very effective. He's very athletic. He might not have the passing qualities that you really need, but does pass well than the current options that we have. So if you can be able to bring that energy you need in midfield, games are won and lost in the midfield, and you need a lot of energy in midfield. And Conor Gallagher can bring the energy we need. He's not exactly our number one. We needed the likes of Carlos Baliba or Adam Wharton. You cannot get Adam Wharton right now from Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are doing quite well, and they are also in the Conference League. So we don't have Europe, so it's going to be a difficult deal trying to get it on a day, on less than a day, because it's less than 24 hours to the deadline. We have like Baliba. Baliba has been substituted in the 3 games starting this season earlier than the 70th minute, so that is an issue. I don't know if he's not fit, or the links to Man United destabilize his preparation for the season, but it's also something that Man United should try and see if they can get the deal done. Maybe Brighton will be not willing to sell because they don't have time to get a replacement. But the way the Brighton team is built up, they can have other options, and they always want to sell their players. It's a club that they look to do business in the transfer window. So hopefully that is something that we can look at. So we're going to keep on monitoring the transfer news of today, and hopefully bring you more news as the day progresses. Let's meet in the next one.